Hey everyone, very good evening to all of you. My name is Yatan. I'm going to be your instructor for this training. Talking about myself, I have been delivering corporate training since last 3-4 years, and my key expertise have been in this domain routing and switching. So as you all know, we have composed this specific training, which is uh, going to have two specific protocols. One is your OSPF and another one is your BGP. That the training program which you all have enrolled for is specifically about two protocols as in the start also, and we have discussed the same thing which is of OSPF, and another protocol which we are going to discuss is your BGP. But before understanding this protocol, be it your OSPF or be it the BGP, we need to have some basic introductory part as well, that from where we are going to begin this session and what are going to be the topics which we are going to discuss in this session. So first thing I'm just gonna give you in today's session is that some quick introduction for routing, that what exactly routing is, then an introduction for types of routing. Then after that, we are going to start with the protocol that's your OSPF. So specifically in this protocol that's your OSPF, in total there are as per 29 topics which we are going to cover up, which will first thing is going to be the introduction part, then terminologies of OSPF, algorithm mechanism, how exactly it calculates the best path, types of routers, and a lot more things are there. So I'll also share the content, and I guess you already have that. So if you don't have, you can do let me know on the chat box. I'll share that as well in after the session. And then once we are done with the OSPF, then we are going to move towards the another protocol, that's your BGP. And once we have completed both the OSPF and BGP, we will create a scenario where exactly we are going to use both the mixture of protocols at the same time. We'll also implement OSPF in a lab setup. Plus, we are also going to implement BGP, and there we'll see that how exactly both these protocols are going to function in the real-time enterprise networks. So that is the thing. This is how we are going to cover up this entire training. And for this training, I hope you all know the lab prerequisites. As such, it is nothing. So I'll write this side, the lab prerequisites. So the lab prerequisite is going to be that first thing, let's say that there is a tool we all know, that's Cisco Packet Tracer, which is not that much used, but yeah, in some basic introductory sessions, we can use it up. Then after that, another simulator which we are going to give you is your EvenG. That is going to be a file that you just need to host it on your VM machine. Now to use this EvenG setup, you must have at least 8 GB of RAM. That's good. And minimum Core i3 is the required processor. So these are the two basic things which you must have on your base machines in order to have a better experience on the labs which we are going to have. All right, so this is it for the lab prerequisite, and moving ahead towards the another part, that what's going to be your entire training prerequisites. So we'll just give the heading that prerequisites for training or for this, let's say, program. The very first thing is that you must have a good understanding on routing, protocols, and how the data is being transmitted, or like, you can say the basic, not the basic, like let's say CCNA is must, which you all have gone through with it as of now. Because as a network engineer, you all are into this domain. So that is just a kind of prerequisite, which you can say a basic understanding of networking and good conceptual knowledge on CCNP, because these topics, OSPF and BGP, which we are going to cover up, these are somewhat we will be covering up to the level of CCNP NRC. Let's say there are some topics which are included from just above level of that. So if you don't know what is NRC, it's just one of a certification that is going to be the part of CCNP. Like if you will look for the Cisco certifications, this is how the certifications are designed. There is some CCNA, the very basic part. Then we have CCNP. So in this CCNP, there are two things. Let's say NCORE is there, and another exam is your, you can say NRC. So this NCORE is CCNP Enterprise that deals with the infrastructure, which is all about routing and switching. And this NRC is something we call it as Advanced Routing and Switching. So there are various topics included from this certification track as well, which will help us understanding the things more in detail. So this is how, guys, these are some basic things from my side. And up to here, I think we are good, which we will be discussing in the particular training, which is the part here, OSPF and BGP. Here you can see, guys, this is the entire course content. Yeah, so now guys, you can see that over here in this particular training, these are the topics. As of now, we are going to start with OSPF introduction, database, router types, metric algorithm, and how all these things are going to function step by step. And there is some troubleshooting labs also, which I'm going to give you for assignment. But before that, we need to, just do one thing. I'm going to share this file with every one of you, this EVNG, and you just need to download this file on your base machine. After downloading this file, also, you must have VMware on your base machine. Let me show you. I do have it on my machine. If you don't have, you can do let me know. I'll share the link for that. But if you have, that's good and fine. Let me show you my base machine. And over here, this is the software, which is VMware Workstation. So once you have to install it, you also need to activate this VMware. So when you are going to install it, by the end, it is also going to ask you for the activation key. What you just need to do over here is that make sure you are going to use the keys which I have given to you, or if those keys doesn't work, you can do let me know on the Telegram as well for the same. So in the VMware link, there is a WordPad file that do includes the keys as well. So now, once you have activated this, going in the help option over here about VMware Workstation, you can just check it is licensed or not. And once it is done, just OK and then close this file. Go to the downloaded EVNG file where you have downloaded that. This is how the VMware file will look like, which you have downloaded the EVNG file. And over here, you just don't need to do anything. Just double click over here. And you need to give a name to the file, whatever the virtual machine you are creating. Let's say I'm giving EVNG new lab, or from here you can browse the location. By default, it will be stored in the C drive documents folder. From there, you can get the information about this file. So I'll just click over here on the import option. So this is how the file will open up, and you just don't need to do anything. Just power on this virtual machine. And over here, you are going to get an IP address that is 192.168.1.6, or depending upon your network connectivity, you might get a different IP. So whatever the IP you are going to get here, you just need to write that IP, and you need to use Mozilla Firefox for that. So my given IP, the EVNG machine is giving to me is 192.168.1.1. So I need to say 192.168.1.1. And this is how, sorry, 1.6 it is. 192.168.1.6. So that's how the EVNG graphical user interface is going to come up on your Firefox. And over here, you just need to give the username as admin, and the password is going to be EVE, which is Eve. And nothing needs to be changed here. You can go and use native console. HTML also, I'll let you know that what's the use of HTML. So you just need to click on this sign in option over here and just say save if you want to, or just go with don't save. This is how a setup will come in front of you. This is a simulator. We call it as EvenG, which is going to give you a real-time exposure for the real-time devices. This is where we are going to use some advanced labs for BGP and OSPF. So in this entire tool, we will be giving you the assignments like troubleshooting assignments to practice on, like how you can figure out the challenges. Some trouble tickets will be there in the routers. So all the labs and everything will be done over here. How to use this? You can see there are some options: import, export. By using these options, you can also save and export the labs. Let's see how to use that. You need to go on the add new lab here, and going in the add new lab, whatever the name you want to give your lab. So I'll say test lab and I'll just say saved. So once I'm done doing this one over here, you can see that on the screen, there is a workspace which is coming up, and this side there are some options we got. So close lab, that means you are turning off the lab, and when you will click on the close lab, it will be redirected back to the home page. So you don't need to close the lab as of now. And if you want to open up any lab, you need to click on the lab, and over here you will see an option to click on open. Now, if you will go see more actions, start all the devices, stop all the devices, wipe all the device configurations. If you want to get the console screen for the devices, that too is possible. And sharing the files, configurations, deleting the startup configurations, everything is possible here. So how you have to use this? You just need to right click anywhere on the workspace, just select this option node and search for router. You'll get a router here. Minimum RAM is 512 if you want to go with, else according to your specification of the machine, you can choose the RAM. And let's say I want to take two routers. I'm just going to save it. And these are my devices here. Let's say if I want to take another device, switch. So there is a switch as well. And if you want to take some PCs, so search for VPC, which is virtual PC. Let's say two PCs we are going to take. So this is how we are going to use the simulator. And most of the time we will be using these three devices as per our training, because OSPF and BGP, we need routers and PCs in order to make the communication. Now, how to, just use these devices. Suppose that these are five devices which I do have, and now I want to connect these devices. As you can see, while each and every device is in the off state, and when devices are in the off state, when you will put the cursor on the device, this blue cable will blink up, which prompts you to connect with another node. Let's say if I want to connect this router with the router number two, I will click on this blue orange cable and I will drag and drop my cursor towards the next device. Whatever the type of interface or interface number on the VIOS2 I want to use, I can go with that. Let's say I want to use GI0/1. So I can use that and click on the save option. So you can see this side by default, it is taken GI0/0, and on the other side, it is saying 0/1. Then after, if I want to connect with the switch, let's directly connect that and click on save option. Again, let's put some redundancy in the network. Let's connect like that. And I'll connect the VPC as well. But make sure, guys, whenever you are going to establish connectivity in between the devices over here, these devices needs to be in the off state. So I'll just turn on all these devices in the on state by just right clicking on any of the device and saying start the device. And if you want to off that, right click and you will get an option to stop the device. But now all these devices are in the on state, but VPC5 is in the off state. So you can see when I'm putting my cursor on VPC5, the orange cable icon is blinking up. So I can connect this with any of the device. But let's say if I want to connect it to the switch, but on the switch, there is no cable option which is blinking up. So if I try to connect here, you can see that the connectivity, it is showing you that it is established, but in real, it's not established, because once the connectivity is established, in that case, you're just going to have that interface number to whatever the interface you are connected to. So that's how these devices are going to function, and this is how you are going to use it for accessing the labs and the connectivity part. Now, taking the access of these devices, how these devices will be utilized and how we'll use that, just you need to click on the device, and this is how it will prompt up. So you can click over here and open the link. So for that, you need to install Putty in your base machine. If you don't have, you can go to Google and you can write here download Putty. From here, you can download Putty for your base machine. Let's say if you want to download for Windows, you can go here, and it's the first one, 64-bit x86. This is the one you need to download. In order to use it with any other operating system, you can download it accordingly. What is the requirement? So that's the official website that says www.putty.org. I'm gonna share that with you, or directly I'll share this one in your group as well. So from there, you can download this software, which will give you the access. And over here, you can now see that the CLI of the device is up. If you want to see how many interfaces are there on the switch, here you can write the command enable show IP interface brief. So you can see that it's showing you that these are the number of interfaces, which are all in the up state, but the connected one are already the gig 0/100 and 020. This one is not connected to any of the device. So this is how you are going to use your labs for practicing the protocols, which is OSPF and BGP. Meanwhile, whatever the labs we are going to discuss in this session, I'll also share the lab guides for each and every lab, which we are going to cover up in this training. So I hope it's all clear to every one of you what exactly the topics which we are going to cover up and how we will take the session more in detail. So as of now, guys, for every topic which we are going to discuss in this entire training, it's going to be like this. See, the first part is going to be the introduction for every topic or everything which we are going to discuss. Then after the introduction, there needs to be some theoretical part you need to have an understanding on. Then after the theoretical part, there will be the practicals where we are going to see the labs for what we have discussed in the theory. And then there will be some T-shoot assignments which we are going to give you, as well as if you are not able to do on that, I'm also going to show you that part. So these two things are gonna be the part of your labs. And these two things maybe you're gonna be the part of your theory. So it's something we are going to take this session like this. Over here, we are going to focus on 70%, and this side will focus on 30%. But yeah, depending upon the topic, that how and which topic comes up might be like, in case of BGP, there are a lot of terms. In case of OSPF, when you'll go more in detail, labs are there as well, but some basic things which are the part of theoretical session. So that needs to be covered on. So that is just one quick basic thing which we will be discussing in this entire training.